The angle of shear resistance is a parameter which describes the strength of sand. It is used in many ways to calculate different structures in, around, and on sand. The angle of shear resistance is normally determined by a CPT or SPT test or by a Trykel test in a laboratory. If the project is not economically large enough to have laboratory tests conducted, it is normal to use angles which is estimated from table values. One example of these table values is table 10.3 in Teknisk Støbi, which is used in Denmark. Based on information on the soil type and the age of the soil, it is possible to estimate the strength and deformation parameters of the soil. From this table, it can, for example, be seen that a post-glacial sand normally has an angle of shear resistance between 33 and 39 degrees. This video will demonstrate 3 small tests which shows the angle of shear resistance for sand. It should be emphasized that these tests only gives an idea of what the angle of shear resistance is, and more advanced tests should be performed to have better information about the strength of soil. All the tests in this video is made with uniformly washed beach sand from Denmark. The first test consists of a plastic tube with sand in. When the plastic tube is rolled along a horizontal surface with a uniform velocity, a slope will form within the sand. This is a state of failure of the sand. Measuring the angle will give the angle of shear resistance. Let us demonstrate the test. The tube is slowly rolled against a horizontal surface. The second test involves a transparent box. This is filled with the same sand as for the previous test. The box is vibrated to pack the sand grains a little more. Hereafter the box is tilted very slowly. As soon as the sand grain starts to move, the angle between the slope and the horizontal surface is measured. This gives the angle of shear resistance. Let us demonstrate the test. Sand is filled into a box, and the sand is vibrated to make a more dense deposit, and then the box is slowly tilted until failure occurs. The third test is made in a transparent box with a filter layer underneath. Further, a funnel is mounted in the corner to be able to slowly fill the box with water. The same sand is slowly filled into the box, so the sand forms a heap in the middle of the box. The angle of the heap is measured, and this gives the angle of shear resistance. Now the box is slowly filled with water in the corners of the box. As the water rises, the slope of the heap remains unchanged, which shows that the angle of shear resistance is the same for saturated and for dry sand. As the water is slowly removed, the heap is still unchanged, and thereby the angle of shear resistance is still unchanged. Sand is filled into the box slowly to form a small heap in the middle. Now water is slowly filled into the box from the bottom. The water is then removed slowly from the box. To summarize the three experiments, it is generally found that the angles of shear resistance lies within the interval set by technical stability. Further, they are all found very similar. It should again be emphasized that this method can only be used to estimate the angle of shear resistance, and more advanced laboratory tests should be performed to give better understanding of the angle of the sand in question.